Hi.
GM. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this kicked off. I am Tibor with Intuition. I'm sure you guys have seen me around the Discord. Thrilled to introduce you guys to one of our amazing developers on the Intuition team, JP.
Hey y'all, great to be here. Yeah, I'm JP. I think I've met or talked to some of you here and there, but super stoked to be here today. Like Tibor said, yeah, I've been on the Intuition team for just a little over a year now. And yeah, I can give a little bit of an intro, but want to also get to know and meet all of you. So yeah, super stoked. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks to you.
Thanks you to organize this.
Yeah, that being said, I will pass it over to Zet to give a quick intro. So Zet is from the Hacking Project. He is part of the squad of developers that have been hacking on Intuition for the past 3 weeks, and partially one of the main things we'll be talking about in this space today. So kick it over to you, Zach.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, from my side, I've been on Web3 like those past few years. I've been working on decentralized reputation and identity. And I've been across Intuition looking for a project for the Hacking Project. So the Hacking Project is a school for people who wants to get a quick dive into web development. So we propose people to get like a 3 months, 3 to 8 months courses. And this school is basically based on peer learning. So we don't have like a teacher, but a bunch of people like mentoring, and people are really helping each other to rise their skills and share a lot with each other. So one of our idea with the school was to find actually like a good way for the students to exchange reputation between each other and go a bit deeper than what just a national diploma for our student. So that was basically like how we end up like finding about Intuition. I came across a project through one of the Intuition developer looking at verifiable credential, and yeah, I've been stuck since there about this idea, and that's how like I propose our 5 students, which we worked for the past few weeks, just hacking around some toolings about Intuition, and yeah, that's what we're gonna talk today.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love hearing the background and the story and the mission of the Hacking Project, because I've been in Web3. I've been a product engineer in Web3 for several years now, and focusing mainly on open source and ecosystem growth. And prior to Intuition, I did a lot of work in DAOs, and even prior to getting into Web3, I worked in ed tech and education and like civic tech. So your mission about with everything with getting folks their foot in the door and learning and everything, it super resonates and aligns with everything that I've come, like the background that I have and where I've come from. So yeah, it's amazing. Would love to hear more from the rest of the team if anyone else wants to introduce themselves. But yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, sure, we can. I'm Thomas. I'm one of the dev team. I started the Hacking Project in March. Previously, I wasn't doing dev at all. I was doing animation and entertainment, so that was very different. But I followed the beginning by the end of March, and we just finished last week. So yeah, I didn't know much about Web3 beforehand. I never really got interested in that. But that offered us the project, and we thought we could really contribute and be of help to intuition and see what everyone can bring to the table. So yeah, that's what got me in the project.
Very cool. Yeah, that's so awesome. Like when I started doing, when I got into Web3, I was a part of like the Raid Guild and DAO community, and so much of what we had focused on was finding different ways to like introduce developers and provide entry points for Web3 development. And super stoked to hear that you all worked and used intuition in your project with this. Yeah, I think one of the items that we wanted to talk over is just like what is the what was the project? Like how did it come about? Unless anyone else wants to introduce themselves and background to the hacking project, I'd love to hear about the project that you all hacked on, and what it was, how it came about.
Yeah, so I can introduce myself. I'm also a new developer. I just debuted at the end of March, like Thomas. And that was actually our final project for the formation in THP. We took 3 weeks to try to visualize, help comprehend the logic and the information on intuition. So we did a 3D graph to navigate, click on some atoms to see more information about it. We tried to replicate the composition of a triple with subject, object, and predicate to create some sentences to give a bit more information about some projects or about some things like some schools, the things you can learn in this school, who tried the project, who tried the school, how it helped to evolve, to get into some enterprises. And that was pretty cool to try to get everything working to comprehend the information.
Hey,
Yeah.
and just to introduce myself, I'm Thibaut, and I'm a bit like Thomas and Sasha. I wasn't in code before March, but I was on a literary and artistic path, and that's really cool to discover this new universe for me, and that was a really cool project to work on. So I will let Zet continue. But
Yeah, sure. Yeah, by the way, like they are all new into development, like 8 months. It's really definitely not a long time into development, but today they passed their final jury. So now they all have a license in IT. So yeah, congrats to them.
we did it.
And yeah, one of the things which we really wanted to experiment with intuition is the fact that the protocol is really smart and really capable to do so many different things. But one of the things we wanted to focus on is really to be able to provide an experience for our students to leverage the protocol in order to be able to give themselves recommendation between each other. And if we as a school can give attestation about what they learn, there is so many things which is lost along the way. For example, like all the soft skill which the student acquire and can share between each other, their capacity to work between each other, or a particular skill which is not particularly included into this program. And that's how we come with focusing our experiment into researching about the protocol capability of expressing deep semantic. So you can imagine, like, for example, like a LinkedIn recommendation, wanted to provide like that's the goal we have at the end. We didn't quite achieve that as 100%, but the protocol capability have that to actually like conduct a really strong and complete semantic within claim. So yeah, that was the focus of our experiment.
That is such an awesome goal. I mentioned I had background in like ed tech and educational technology, and like what you were identifying and solving was like a problem that we face so much in like the Web 2 world in that context. And that's really great to hear about how you found intuition in our protocol and how you were able to move towards that goal. Very, very cool.
Yep.
In a way, that's something that we can need as junior developers, because in France right now it's pretty hard for a dev that comes out of a bootcamp like us to really get into find a job and find something, because right now many companies prefer hiring people that have college degrees, and often a training that comes with it. So it's pretty hard, and in a way that would help to have people staking on a claim and help you validate the skills you already had or that you learned during the training. But that's something that is not only the formal and concrete experience. You see, that's the big difference, and that could really help junior developers like us among the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's such a good critical and real problem that you're all seeking and solving with this. And I guess like the question I have around that is like you said that like using the semantic nature and the expressiveness that can come from using our protocol. Did you find that really helped you? Move toward that project goal? Like, I'd like to hear, like, did you have that goal in mind and then find our protocol, or was it kind of like you found our protocol and then developed your project idea based on what you saw was possible?
No, I made before coming across intuition, I'm actually made a lot of research, and from within the team of Jacking project, we had various discussion of what could be the perfect stack for us to do verifiable credential using a system which will be scalable in the long term. And that's only when we find out about intuition that we realize all right, that's what we need, nothing else.
That is amazing. Yeah. I'd love to, if you're able to, if you're willing and able to share or screen share, walk through and just talk through, show what you built and talk through generally what the building experience was like. I'd love to see that. That would be awesome.
Sure. So yeah, I can get started with that. So one of the first project we build is just a kind of helper for people to experiment with triple creation. So everything is off chain. The goal of that is not to connect it directly off chain, but it's just for people to, within a few clicks, create many different triple and have the ability to connect different triple or embed different triple together. So yeah, I can share the link. It's available here.
So with the banner that, so Max is work too. So the banner.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, the main goal was, having a quick way to experiment with atom creation, triple creation, and more nested triple creation. So that you can express really deep semantic stuff. And from that, then you can export the atom list and triple list into CSV, which you can then use into one product of intuition, which is really awesome. It's a data populator when you can basically create a bunch of data all at once. So yeah, that was the goal of this of this first project. Here, as a subject, you can select, for example, an already existing tripod to create another one. So if you want, for example, to complement that piece of information with more information, you can do that.
That's very cool. So how did you all approach the project? Like, did everybody work on the same parts of it, or how did you all break it up as a team while you were working on it?
No, actually, like we split up the work. For this project, is mainly Maxime here not on the stage. It's not on the stage, but that's basically mainly him work on this project. And yeah, the guys here on the stage worked on more the explorer and an assistant, which I think they will showcase it to you now.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you the graph and the visualization tools that we had. If you're on the Intuition server, you might have seen it already. Zed posted it asking for some reviews. Some of you have seen it already. So here's the graph we made. So we got a few options. To break it down, you can either use the playground API that Zed just showed before. You can have the base testnet with base simple here and the mainnet base. So on here, what you see is actual information and actual items and triples that you have on Intuition. So how it works, you can you've got the legend here with the subjects, predicate, and objects, and you see how everything is linked together. We put different things. Thibaut made the click option, so if you click on an item, you'll have the sidebar that opens and will show you some information about this item and the triples it's linked with. You have also a filter that Alexandre made, and you'll be able to really filter depending on what you want to see. If you want to see intuition, for example, it will put it at the center and you see everything that is linked to it. And if you know what you're looking for, you can really search for the predicate, the object, and everything. So that is a really interesting feature if you already know what you're looking for. And we put a toggle on to show the creators with the wallet addresses. So this is for the 2D version, but we also have
maybe Thomas, sorry, maybe you can show also when you pick one, it also filter the triple. You know, when you click on one subject or predicate or
when you click on something, you'll see only the triples and other items that are related to it. For example, I don't know if I want to click on, like that. So you'll be able to see only the things that are linked to it. So it's easier to read. Except for the 2D mode, we've got a 3D version where you can navigate with your keypad and look around. So that's a nice view that we made. It took us some time because we struggled with some technical things, but yeah, that's the final result. And you've got a VR mode right here. And it's the same. You can use a VR headset if you want to. But yeah, it's not as polished as the 3D version, but it's still very nice. So here you go for the graph.
That is amazing. That was my first time seeing that fully in action in the demo, and I love that you have the 2D and the 3D VR modes like that. That's really incredible. I also love that you added the key to be able to really see the subject, predicate, and object in the graph, and to really visualize the knowledge graph and the different parts of the triples as they're expressed. What was the motivation for making the graph? Like, how did you decide to do that as the project?
Honestly, many of the technical requirements, put it that way, were suggested by Zet. So yeah, the whole thing was his idea, but we were able to freely add our own opinions, and we could try on our own to add some new features.
That gave us guidelines, and we could decide of the choice of the features we wanted to create. For example, the atom detail sidebar that I worked on was a suggestion by Zed, but with no suggestion at all on the design, on the way to code that. It was just a suggestion on the brainstorming session. So that was really cool to him to let us code as we want on the project.
Yeah,
that maybe we can. Sorry, JB. That maybe we can answer bento bytes on how do we imagine nested triples in the future.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we didn't have the time to implement in 3 weeks. But yeah, that's something we talked a lot within the team, is a way to represent really like rich semantic directly on that graph through like triples imbrication, or also a way, for example, to represent a list. So now, like for example, there is a basic way to showcase list on this graph. If you put, for example, like hashtag dev, you can have like all the lists relative to developer stuff and how like it's connect between each other. But yeah, I think like one other thing which could really be great, and we didn't have the time to experiment with that yet, is definitely like how like if now like we have a way to show like the creator on the graph. What is even more interesting is how many people put stake on a particular claim. If you can see like that amount of people like agree to a certain claim directly on the graph, that's also an invitation for you to start with one subject and jump to another thing. And I think like this graph capability is freaking cool to experiment and discover new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that seeing the visualization that you all created is really a powerful and effective way to like bring the knowledge to life. And yeah, really excited to see like exactly what you're saying about like the weights and the staking. Kind of leads to like another question I had, was like, you know, just generally your experience building using intuition with what you did, and then also kind of like what you'd like to see next, you know, from based on your experiences now and, you know, the awesome work you've already done. Like, what would you like to see next? Like, what can we do to help continue to provide things for y'all to extend and build on?
Big question. What maybe extend the way to reach information in the graph, because on the creator atom that we can show with the toggle, we don't put the atom details, the creator atom details. So maybe we can extend the information like this by putting more atom details, or I don't know, maybe more relation, or maybe more filter on the bar, more permit to search nested triples in the predicate, subject, and object sidebar. So those kind of ideas, maybe we can. I think we can improve those kind of things. Maybe, I don't know for other.
Yeah, I have actually like I have one idea on how like we could improve the experience for developer to join Intuition. That's kind of one of the things we run in the hacking project. We don't have like proper like full-time teacher, but we conduct like what we call office hours. Just like 1 hour where every student can join when they have a question and a free talk. And if in the Intuition team would be able to at one time like have those kind of event where every dev could just join, talked about their ideas and get some guidance from the team, that would be like freaking awesome. Nice.
I think that's an amazing idea. You know, speaking for myself, like super down to support that because, you know, like I mentioned, you know, I got a background in education as well. And like, I know, you know, what you're doing is incredible. And like, I know sometimes it's hard, like you said, you don't have full-time availability necessarily. So like whatever, you know, we can do, I love the idea of office hours. I think, you know, Tibor kicking this first Fireside chat off, I think, you know, we have some ideas for that. And you know, office hours, if that would be something that you would see as valuable, I think that we would be, you know, we'd love to find a way to support y'all and support the larger ecosystem in that front. But yeah, any other thoughts or ideas on like, you know, and what you said about the improving querying, like I have some news and updates that I can give afterward about where we're heading and what we have coming next. But yeah, does anyone else have any feedback or thoughts about the building experience?
Honestly, we didn't struggle that much during the project. I mean, there was some documentation that's pretty familiar with Web3. So even for those of us that were really not, it wasn't too hard to get into it, you know, and start getting the general idea of where we wanted to go. So yeah, that was pretty nice. As for improvements, I don't know. Right now, I trust Zet. He still has a very good idea of where he wants to go.
No, and that talk about peer learning because it's funny. In the team we are all complementary because Mac, for example, is really good at debugging or checking code like this. So it was it's funny because when somebody worked on I don't know filters and I don't know block because he don't know the answer up Mac come and we could work together and it was the way we worked during the 2 weeks hacking.
That's great. Like that's such a like an awesome way that you all kind of like just saw what areas you were strong on and leaned on each other and helped and collaborated. Like that's such a awesome, important skill. And I just saw a comment in the chat about, you know, any beginner developers that can create a working group. Like I think that those types of like, at least for me, like in my own dev journey, like working groups like that, being able to like bounce ideas off friends and peers is super awesome and valuable. So like, yeah, like massive shout out Zet and team just around like this project in general. Like absolutely love it. But yeah, Tibor, I don't know. Do we want to like just largely for the agenda, just like move into what's next? Also want to like reserve space for some other folks to talk before we talk about what's next for Hacking Project and Intuition. But what do you think, Tibor? How are we feeling?
I have just one thing to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have just one last thing to show.
Take your time. Yeah, go for it, guys. Yeah, no rush.
I make it quick. Don't worry. In order to create recommendation in a nested triple format, we thought about the app with AI assistant to help to create this recommendation. So here, when we go on the create and we took here one of prompt up, let me show you here. Up. And when I click on generate triple, the idea was that the assistant AI create of the enriched sentence as a recommendation and also generate the triple here and also nested triple, as you can see. So the subject, the predicate in here as an object and also as the future subject of the future triple. And the idea of this app was also to, when we have created this, to put those recommendations on the graph. And with, of course, the possibility here to edit the proposal of the AI if we are satisfied, if we are not satisfied yet, and to share the proposal, the URL of the page to other, because we in the idea we could create one recommendation for another, or also request a recommendation. For example, if I follow a course on Python or React, and I want to ask to that one recommendation, I go on this, and it's the same process. I just have to ask here and to send him the URL to accept it, and after that we can put it on the graph visualization here. And I think it's all.
Amazing work on that. Like, one thing, just like while you're all demoing, that I thought about was just like the variety of projects you all built in such a short amount of time. And I think, Bento, you had a call out in the chat just about like what y'all did also with like, little documentation and interaction with the team is absolutely incredible, and like really, really stoked to work more with y'all and provide more resources and support and just see where that ends up. But I think like Tibor, that I don't know if we wanted to see some other intuition folks in the chat and just invite them up to talk about their perspectives, but would also love time to hear about what's next for Hacking Project, and before I share more about what we're cooking. Tibor, do we want to invite anyone else up to talk, or?
Oh yeah, my bad. Looks like I invited Vital up. I invited Mahilo up. And yeah, I'd say we can kick off, and if other people want to join, I'll keep sending invites.
Right on. Awesome.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'll hop in real quick and just do an intro. I'm Vital. I work closely with JP on front-end stuff, and I like to have my hands in as much of the protocol stuff as I can. But everything you guys just showed was absolutely amazing, echoing the same sentiment as everybody else. You guys really killed it. But I love what you guys are doing in general. I'm not going to go too crazy because I could talk forever, but before COVID, like I did video production and worked in the music industry, and I had a lot of like coding, a little bit of coding experience, but just like I've always been a computer guy, and I was already in crypto at that point, and I've always been kind of the nerd of my group, but what you guys are doing is really cool, and that's really what I love about this space, and what I love about this project is one of you guys were saying that like, trying to find work in traditional, traditional workplace, like, it's a lot relies on your college degree and stuff like that. And like, what's beautiful about Web3 and open source development is your work and your reputation really speak for themselves. And, being able to build this, social consensus layer for Web3 and hopefully for the world one day, like it will give us a way to really be able to build these online reputations in a way that people can trust. And, just allows for us to, like I got into this space contributing to DAOs, and like, I just kept contributing, doing more things, got a grant, worked on a DeFi project for like 3 years. And then eventually found my way here, and like it just feels like it's such a natural progression for me. And I'm really proud of what we're trying to build, and it's amazing to see what you guys were able to hop in and do with the little resources you had, because like we're all still really in our infancy here, so it's amazing.
Thank you so much.
I don't know, Bento or Billy, did you, it's more intuition folks on the stage, if y'all wanted to introduce yourselves or say anything. I know we've had an active chat too, which is fantastic. It's a great turnout today.
Yeah, I unfortunately joined late because we had a partnership meeting with Eigenlayer, which is super promising on lots of similar topics. But you guys, I just wanted to say, you guys absolutely crushed it with all of this. Like, I know I don't want to like elaborate on it too much because like everyone just keeps saying it, but like can't overstate how how early it is for us and how little you guys had to work with and like how much you did with the resources you had. Like, huge kudos, huge hats off. I'm sure it was like not easy, and I'm sure there was like lots of interruptions. So like really, really awesome to see that you guys were still able to like crush so much, and like it's only going to get better from here. We've got like lots of new stuff shipping like extremely imminently. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited, and this is just super cool to see. And that's all I've got. I'll pass it off to other folks.
Bento or Josh?
Just parroting what Billy said. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Yeah, incredible work, guys. Like, this is really cool to see, and such a pioneering effort, and it's teaching us a lot of things too. So yeah, good work.
Josh,
piggyback off that. Awesome stuff. And for those who don't know me, I'm Josh, and I'm working on the product side, helping out with UX research at Intuition. And I see a lot of familiar faces here in the chat, where I've had the pleasure of working with you and hearing your feedback on some conceptual designs and prototypes for what's coming down the line. Had a chance to talk with Zet and just hear all your amazing thoughts. So more to come. Thanks for being here, everyone. And I'm sure we'll be speaking soon, as I love hearing from you guys directly on the concepts that we're playing with.
I'm coming late to this convo, but I have a feeling this is the appropriate time to say this. If folks want to keep building into the future and kind of stay abreast and close to all things technical and developer related, like, absolutely, that door is wide open. You know, crypto, largely speaking, is open and permissionless. All you have to do is show up and make yourself seen and heard, and over time build relationships with folks like Josh and JP and Tibor and Vital, and everyone is happy to help. Bandwidth is a scarce resource, but our intentions are good, and our desire to be welcoming and uplift and help other engineers do cool things is very high. So I hope some folks stick around as time goes on.
MK, I think that's such an important point, right? Like, Vital, you touched on that too, and like community and working in a community and ecosystem was so important for my development as an engineer, and especially in Web3. And so as much as possible, I want to support y'all in the community in general. So I love like the idea, like MK, I think you hit it, like giving and paying it forward essentially, and helping others get a leg up. It just increases the ecosystem, and everybody makes pretty incredible stuff. So yeah, I think that's a good segue, Tibor, into what we're cooking and what we're hitting on here. And I think like one of the themes there is like y'all did like absolutely incredible work with fairly limited and early resources on our end. And one thing I'm pretty excited about with that is I think Billy mentioned it too, like we're very, very soon rolling out, and there's already a lot that we can share with y'all and share our roadmap and plans that we have coming up. But one thing that I wanted to mention is, I don't know how much you were able to dig into our repos, but we have a lot of open source repos for everyone to check out on our GitHub, and I'll share the links in the chat, or someone else on Intuition, if you wouldn't mind sharing some of our repos in the chat, that would be awesome. But we have like two core repos that I want to highlight just for right now that would be helpful for everyone. Is we have our intuition-ts, which is a TypeScript monorepo, which thanks Vital for throwing that in the chat. And in that we have the apps that we've been building as reference implementations for folks, it's all open source. But we also have several packages in there, and two that I want to highlight are One UI, which is like our component library that we are putting into the community. It's, we dogfooded and bootstrapped it ourselves in our app development over the last years, really. And it's all of our learnings and things that we've rolled into it. So definitely check that out. And then another one is our GraphQL package that it was in development, I think, while y'all were working and hacking on this project. And, that's one that we're very rapidly updating. And the goal with that is providing, queries and hooks out of the box, like a GraphQL SDK that would, I think, hopefully simplify and streamline some of the querying, data querying issues than questions y'all had. So, we're also, Simon shared the Intuition Rust backend monorepo, which we have a lot of really exciting work being done on that front. And it's also an open source repo where, currently our backend squad is really working hard on the deployment of the next version of the backend, which is, that repo is cutting edge and up to date. And, it's also already possible to, if you look at that repo, you can run our backend locally, and there's instructions in there to be able to do that. And that was a key piece that we wanted to think in this next iteration is how much can we empower ecosystem builders to do a lot on their own. And I think the architecture from our backend squad and what Simon was sharing there is really going to open those doors. And our GraphQL package is providing a Hasura and GraphQL interface for our backend. So lots of excellent resources coming out. And, we're really committed to keeping everything that we're working on, open sourcing as many repos as possible and packages as possible, because, what I'm excited about is you did so much work with fairly limited resources and early resources from us. And that just gives me even more motivation to continue to publish and put as many resources out there as possible in supporting amazing builders like y'all. So we have quite a lot coming and looking forward to sharing it more. But those repos, feel free, jump in, explore, check out the packages. Things are kind of somewhat in flux with some of the packages as we're migrating and changing some things. But y'all are super scrappy and amazing and worked through that already. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to continue with these fireside chats and doing the office hours. I think, especially as we're rolling out these resources, we'd love to get opportunities for feedback and supporting builders like yourselves. But, Tibor, that's kind of like my TLDR about what's coming on our end. But I know there's also some things cooking from Hacking Project and what y'all have next on the radar. So we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah,
too.
sure. Just basically a few days ago, Vitalik made a post about deep funding, and it's basically an experiment about how we could organize the funding to go towards open source project. And he opened a contest which is called deep funding, and he's explaining with human judgment and AI, we can basically take all the project relative to Ethereum and the dependencies of this project and the dependencies of this project, and thanks to AI make a weighted graph in order to decide on what the funding allocation should go toward. And that's the price is up to this first. Ask them to make claims about how they feel different dependencies are important into their project and give rich semantics. That's the kind of things we can reuse as a data source for the AI model in order to provide a better guess on what should we support as open source. So yeah. From our side, on the THP side, I think the guys here are still pretty excited to contribute about some stuff on Intuition, and that's what we're gonna start doing beginning of next year. So for a period at least for 2 months, we're gonna work on that side. The context is ending by the end of February, and I'm also like leveraging this opportunity to make it as an open invitation for anyone who like want to talk with us about how we can make this possible. You don't need to be a developer if you are like a designer or if you have any idea or interest to contribute to this field. Yeah, come reach to us. I think like that could be like a freaking use case of using intuition, and there is some cool stuff to do.
That is super awesome, Zet. And I think that like the timing of that's perfect because like like I mentioned, we already have resources out there, but we're building and rolling out more. And I think this is a great opportunity also with like the office hours that you had mentioned earlier, right? So really excited to work with y'all, and thankful that we'll have another couple months to get to know each other better and work more closely on this with our support and our resources. But yeah, that's a super exciting project. Yeah, I want to reserve some time for Q&A. I don't, Tibor, do you want to move into Q&A, or do we want to talk about other things for the next year and then move into QA? But yeah, it's this has been an awesome conversation with y'all. I just really appreciate getting to know you all and seeing the work that you did.
Yeah,
thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Yeah, and I guess as we just get into a little Q&A here, before I do that, so as I'm sure if you've been keeping active in Discord and across our socials, right now we are kind of closing the Genesis period of the Intuition Relics. So if you're here and you were at the Fireside chat, go ahead and screenshot yourself in here, open a ticket, and we will whitelist you for a discounted relic mint and give you some XP, or Intuition IQ, as we like to call it. That being said, we can kick off QA. Does anyone have any questions for us? Anybody? All right. Oh, Miaj, I'm inviting you up. Invite sent.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, hi, Homage. How are you?
Hello. Fine, and you?
Fine. I'm pleased to meet you again.
Yeah, I just started to discover the project this morning, so yeah, it's been a long time since I've experienced UX like this. So congrats to Intuition team for that, really. Firstly. And my question concerns what is crucial in the Web3 ecosystem. These attestations offer increased transparency and decentralized control of data. However, it's also exposed to community bias or malicious contributions, such as project mislabeled safe by coordinated attacks, for example. So to prevent civil attacks or potential for misinformation, do you have any additional elements to reputation systems and AI for, I don't know if it's rely on internal or external information of it, it's on to verify. And is there any transparency in the reputation algorithm or periodic audits of a reputation system planned?
Those are really excellent questions. So I think a couple of different pieces here, and one that I want to emphasize is that our protocol, and we have our base protocol that's completely open source and extensible, and folks are able to build any sort of novel use cases on top of it. And we invite that, and especially like what we've seen today. And we have our core primitives with the atoms and triples, and being able to have hold positions on those, and those can be kind of composed and strung together in any variety of ways. And the questions you're asking about how that fits into reputation and detecting malicious sites and everything around that is a really important use case. And we have some projects that are going to be releasing and demoing coming soon that I think address those points. But I think like one question that I would have for the community is, we have our interpretations of what that could look like using our primitives, but would also love to see and invite, especially as we're creating and developing and releasing more resources, to see other interpretations from the larger community. That's just, like where I'm like, my framing for that is, I think the more decentralized, open, permissionless contribution that we have to the larger protocol, the more powerful and effective it gets. So, I think like we have our interpretation and our apps that we're building, but room for folks to make their own. I don't know, Vital, Josh, or Tibor, if you had any additional thoughts on that, but yeah, would love to have more of those conversations and dialogues.
Yeah, I think just like really just echoing what you said in that, like, we've put this out into the world, and we're just really excited to see what cool things people build on top of us. And I think like this experience with the hacking project has been really awesome, because it was like a great test bed for like what these collaborations can look like in the future. And like to echo what JP said earlier as well, like with very little like documentation and even some outdated stuff, like seeing what they were able to build is just like makes us feel so amazing, because it means that the things that we have built are intuitive and that others can build on top of them. So I think like as far as reputation stuff, like I'm so excited to see what comes to be as like more people approach us. We start to make some partnerships, other collaborations happen. Like it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, just to like hop in there too, like I echo a lot of the same sentiment, but like I've been, like I throw the ideas around with this all the time, and like reputation is a big part of me with this, and like we have things that we can integrate with, like or other people can integrate with if they want to build the project, but like you could integrate with like your Gitcoin passports. You just have like abundant on-chain history, like figuring out ways to couple these things, like, and then you have stuff like Bright ID and different types of human verification too. Like, there's all kinds of different things that you could integrate with that, like people could build on top of it, or like, eventually I'd love to see it integrated into our system at some point. And however it is that we figure out how to interpret somebody's reputation, right? Like all of the information is there already. It's just a matter of tapping into that, and then like figuring out an algorithm or figuring out how you want to distill that information to show a reputation score, and like I think that's what's really cool about what we're doing. And like I think that having this base layer, this knowledge graph, like, and being able to tap into that, and then having all these other things combined with it, allow you to attach it all to an identity, and it gives you a way to like share and socialize this information. So great question.
Oh, Tibor, I think, Mihailo, I see you have your hand raised. I don't know if you were wanting to come up to the stage, or I don't know if that was intentional or not, Tibor, but I see Mihailo has his hand raised.
Might be an old invite, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. I was just scanning the audience to see. Yeah. But also, yeah, really, really excellent chat too. And really been reading through that. And Bento, the point that Bento raises in the chat, and that Zet too, like, that's partly why we want to be focusing on ecosystem and supporting the efforts and initiatives like this, is because, Zet, your point about like providing anybody the freedom to consume the intuition data, the protocol from the data. And, we want to continue to provide better developer experiences and better and smoother ways to access that. So, like that's a little bit of what I was hitting at that we're cooking on in the new, in the coming months. And what we already have out there, and it's just, we're only going to continue to hopefully iterate and improve with feedback from builders. So yeah, great points in the chat. Love how active the chat's been too. It's awesome.
Any other questions in the audience? See, we got a lot of new people in here. If you have a question, feel free to flag it in chat and we can bring you up on stage. That being said, I won't say too much, but just in terms of what intuition is cooking in the future. So right now, we're all kind of working towards a common goal that is creating some new, exciting tutorial-based experiences for interacting with intuition and kind of bolstering users' understanding of what we're doing. So with that all being said, we have various things happening. We have the Genesis relic mint period ending and all the future relics just being standard relics. There's tons of IQ opportunities by engaging with us in our Discord, on Twitter, across various social platforms. We got some upcoming XP campaigns on some platforms other than Galaxy, which is super, super exciting. And just all in all, we're gearing up and kind of bearing down for a very action-packed Q1 next year. So, to everybody that's here, thanks for being here. Keep active in the chats. Everything you guys are doing is being noticed. We got kind of our new role-based progression system that we implemented earlier this month. Seems like you guys are really enjoying that. And, all in all, just look forward to continuing to chat with you guys in the server. And ultimately in the new year, just continue doing these to give you guys a little more of an inside look at, what we're doing under the hood and development-wise, what we're working towards. So that's all I got. JP,
Amazing.
anything else?
Yeah. Tibor, I see in the chat, CB Crypto has flagged another, what I think is probably a great topic for another fireside chat. Maybe I think, and also the question around a specific developer channel. I think that plus the office hours is really, really exciting and a great idea. And I love the idea of if folks have ideas for what we can specifically talk about as a topic on some of these chats. I love to see it. So thank you for putting that in the chat.
No, really good call out, CBC. Thank you for all your contributions lately. I see we got Milan in here too. He's been cooking on some ideas in terms of maybe some developer forums and stuff we could make to kind of assist in the priority for what we go through in those office hours. So everybody keep the feedback coming. Our team is reading those things. We're trying to work through them and figure out how to set you guys up for success and help you spread the word and build on intuition based on what your skill set is. So, thank you all for showing up. I think that's all we got. And don't forget to submit a ticket so you can claim that XP.
Right on. Thank you, Tibor, and thank you all. It was really, really fun hanging out and talking through things with y'all, and look forward to talking more in the new year.
Thanks to
Awesome,
you
guys.
Really good chat.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Have a great holiday, everyone.
Everyone.